Dave, you did not rank. You did not rank anyone, but that's okay. That's acceptable. You're our third eye. You're the person that's going to tell us where we're wrong, where we're right. Constructive criticism would be nice today, Dave. Let's start with the top two tiers from this list. We have Justin Jefferson sitting at the one. We are all consensus on him being the number one. Jamar Chase, CD Lamb. That rounds up the top three, the tier one. Okay, Dave? And then in tier two, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, and Marvin Harrison Jr.
All right, Dave, what do you think?
I mean, I don't have too many issues with a lot of it. I mean, I feel like the top Marvin Harrison's high, but I mean, he's supposed to be that guy, so I'm not going to argue with it too much. So I don't see a whole lot of issues, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously you get a rookie here in the top 8, which is big. We already threw him into tier 2. All signs are leaning towards him being the guy. So, I mean, he could be top 3 next year. We don't know yet. I am a little hesitant to say where he'll finish at the end of the season just because we haven't actually seen him play football yet in the NFL. We don't know where he's being drafted to, so that's the tough part. That's why he's at 8. This could be low. We don't know. This could also be high.
Yeah, you put him there for potential. Like if you're doing a startup right now, which I have not done many startups this year or last year. I've retired from the startup life, but I assume people are taking Marvin Harrison over some of these guys like a Chris Olave already, or even a Garrett Wilson, because once it's like a brand new car. Once you drive it off the lot, it loses value. Once the next draft comes along, Garrett Wilson, he used to be the next big thing, but now he's below Marvin Harrison to some people because he is the new shiny toy. That's how people treat draft picks. That's how people treat rookies in general. And I want people to get off of that thinking. I really wish I can have a movement, a big enough voice to let people know, hey, just because the guy's 24 now and not 23 doesn't mean he lost that much value. And just because the guy's coming out and has one extra year behind him in age doesn't mean he's that much better than him. But that's how people look at Dynasty, and it's kind of ridiculous these days. I know Dave has a big problem with that as well. Dave, am I wrong? Am I speaking out of tone here?
About age?
Yeah, just age in general. People just want the new shiny thing.
Well, of course, everything's it's like look at these receivers the last couple of years that come out. They've been awesome. So, Justin Jefferson, Chase, they're breaking records every year. Puka, and I mean, let's say Harrison goes to Arizona. Kyler's a really good player. They have no other competition there besides Trey McBride. And I mean, he could easily put up 1,500 yards like these other guys have. So I can see it happening. It's hard for me to argue with it.
Yep, very hard. So we have two players in the spotlight that we do want to spotlight. That's Jamar Chase and that's CD Lamb. I have Jamar Chase at 2. Justin has him at 3. Jacob has him at 2. So nothing too crazy going on. But the thing is, I have CD at 4. That's the one big issue between the three of us that ranked. I'm the lowest on CD. To me, it's splitting hairs, but it's really not because CD's in tier 1. And then my guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I have at 3 is in tier 2. So that's the big tier break for everyone right there. Now, am I wrong having Amon-Ra above CD Lamb? Or should I just check myself and go, hey, man, I don't want consistency of Amon-Ra, who averaged, by the way, a finish of 13th. He averaged a weekly finish of 13th last year. That's really good for a wide receiver. CD Lamb, though, has that big potential of 40-point games. We saw it all last year. So, yeah, go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, so I have CD at 2. Obviously, he finished as wide receiver 1 last year, which is my big reason for putting him up here. He is being consistently taken as one of your top 3 wide receivers being drafted this year already, and predicted to be potentially even top 1 or top 2. So reasons why I have CD. Dak Prescott's on a contract year, so he's got to ball out. He's going to be airing it out. Who's that guy that's going to be catching the ball? CD. CD is so consistent in that offense. He's so good. I like Jamar Chase. We all know that I'm also a Bengals fan. I love Jamar Chase over probably the top 10. But who's on that offense now? It's Joe Burrow coming off an injury. You got Jamar Chase, who's in a contract year, but will T. Higgins play for the Bengals this year? Tyler Boyd's not back. They re-signed some tight end. Who else is on that offense? So they're gonna only be guarding Jamar. This is where Jamar's gonna have to, literally prove that he is the guy and can pull on double coverages, but he wasn't doing that last year. So that is a little bit concerning. I have CD just over Jamar. Like if we're talking points, I'm talking like a 9.5 and a 9.4. It's not a huge gap for me as much as it is for you.
No, I agree with that. It's just my thing with Jamar Chase. If we're gonna pivot over to him, I do have him at 2 because of the same situation you're talking about. We don't know if Higgins is going to be there. He's attached to the better quarterback of all these. I believe Joe Burrow's better than Justin Jefferson's quarterback, CeeDee Lamb's quarterback, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's quarterback. I think Burrow's the best quarterback out of all those. But I hate to use the quarterback conversation as a talking point. I think it's lazy. I think it's very lazy to say, for example, I put this out on Twitter today, Justin Jefferson's down because he doesn't have a quarterback. That is so lazy. If you break down the stats, Justin Jefferson was just as good. And I know we'll talk about this with Dave because he's about to go off, but he was just as good with Mullins, Dobbs, and the rest of them bums over there when Kirk Cousins got hurt. Jamar Chase has better upside than an Amon-Ra St. Brown or a CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion, because of what he can do and what we've seen him do. He has many routes he could run. He could run the 9 route. He could run a crossing route. He could run a slant. He can do it all. He's done it all. But he's mainly, and I will say mainly, produced when T. Higgins is on the sideline, when he's hurt. Whereas Jamar Chase is just always balling. I do have some gripes on Chase, but Dave, I want you to talk a little bit.
I don't have much issue with any of these. Like I said, I don't have an issue with any of these guys. JJ's number 1 to me. I mean, you've already explain how he balled with, the worst of the worst last year. He still had 1,000 yards. I mean, the guy had 1,000 yards. He missed 7 games. He had 1,000 yards. And he missed 7 games. He's the 3rd player in NFL history to have 1,000 yards in 10 games. Like, he's ridiculous. Chase and Lamb, I could flip a coin on either one. I know you love Amon-Ra, and honestly, I do too. I just can't put him over the other 2 guys. But I mean, he's a stud too. So, I mean, I'm not gonna fight you over you having him at 2. That's your guy. Then you can go with it. I just think the other guys are a little bit better, but that's just it's to me. You're splitting hairs between all 3, all 4 of these guys.
Yep, I agree with that. I just want to break this down. I wish we would got into it. I wish we didn't all have Justin Jefferson at 1. So I put it out there. What's your reasoning why Justin Jefferson's not your 1? And some people are like, most of the people are like quarterback situation. Let me break down the numbers for you. Weeks 14 through 18, when he came back, when he did not have Kirk Cousins, he averaged 100.6 yards per game. He averaged 6.4 catches per game. He averaged 18.62 fantasy points per game in that time. That's with 3 not even quarterbacks that won't even make rosters. Well, they'll make rosters, but they won't even sniff the field. Dobbs, Hall played a game, Mullins, they're all complete bums. Justin Jefferson still did that. Not to mention week 14 when he came back, and I included these with these numbers. I included week 14. He played 18% of snaps that week. He didn't come back full on. He was very limited the first week. So even counting that, he still averaged all that. It's insane. He was a wide receiver 3 when he came back in that time period. I do want to say this about Jamar Chase because I thought this was an interesting stat. Jamar Chase had 6 single-digit games last season. 6 for fantasy points. 6. Justin Jefferson has had 7 since 2021.
That's crazy. He's so good.
I don't know what else to say. I don't know why you people are doubting Justin Jefferson. Nobody is. We all have him at 1. But for you select few who think quarterback's going to be a huge issue, I already see in the chat, it's not, guys. Justin Jefferson's that guy. And he's going to be continuing to be that guy number 1. So, I mean, listen, I love that we're all in sync with our top 2 tiers.